Hey everyone. In this video, we're going to take a look at how to apply the FOIL method when multiplying with complex numbers. Okay, so here we see an example of two binomials, each with an imaginary number, both in that complex number form. And we can use the FOIL method to evaluate or simplify this expression, really. Okay, so the FOIL method we know stands for first, outer, inner, last, as I've mentioned in one of my prior videos. First meaning I would multiply my first term in each of our binomials together. So negative 3 times 4 is going to give me a negative 12. That represents my first term. Okay, O is the outer terms, so that is the outermost terms on each of our binomials. Negative 3 times 3i is negative 9i. That represents our outer terms. The innermost terms are the ones on the inside of our expression, so 2i times 4, which is going to be a positive 8i. That's my inner. And then my last are the last terms in each of our binomials. Again, this one will be 2i times 3i. Again, multiply the coefficients. 2 times 3 is 6, and then I times I would give me I squared. All right, now that we have this, we can go ahead and simplify what we can do, or what we can simplify. So we have a negative 9i and an 8i in the middle. That's going to combine together. We also have this I squared, which we know from the prior video, whenever we have an I squared, that's the same as having a negative 1. Okay, so we have negative 12. Our two middle terms become a negative 1i, and then I have 6, and I substitute a negative 1 in for that I squared. Okay, so now we have negative 12 minus I minus 6. And we'll write our final answer in complex number form. Negative 12 and negative 6 is going to give me a negative 18 minus I. Okay, again, negative 18 is the real part, and I represents our imaginary part. Let's take a quick look at a couple more examples. Okay, so again, we'll use the FOIL method in each of these. I'm going to do A first, so my first would be 1 times 4, which is going to give me a positive 4. Outer would be 1 times 5i, which is a positive 5i. Inner would be negative 2i times 4, which is a negative 8i. And last is negative 2i times 5i, which is going to give me a negative 10i squared. Again, simplify what we can. The 4 gets brought down. 5i minus 8i is a negative 3i. And then we have our I squared, which is going to become a negative 1. So we have negative 10 times negative 1. 4 minus 3i plus 10. And then we combine our like terms, and we get 14 minus 3i. All right, let's take a look at the next one. One more example. Okay, so first 4 times 6, that's my first terms, so that's 24. Outer terms, 4 times 2i is a positive 8i. Inner terms is negative 3i times 6, which is a negative 18i. And last is negative 3i times 2i, which is a negative 6i squared. Again, simplify where we can. Replacing our I squared with a negative 1. And simplifying further, we get a positive 6 there. And finally, combine the like terms at the end. We have a 30 minus 10i, and that would be my final answer. Okay, so again, we're just using the FOIL method the same as when we were multiplying binomials, when we were doing the operations with polynomials. But now again, with the imaginary numbers, whenever you have that I squared, you want to make sure that you replace that with a negative 1 and write your final answer in complex number form.